Welcome to episode 13 of Garrett's Football Show. I think this goes without saying, but just in case I need to, I'm your host, Garrett Sims. This week, I'm alone for the third time in these 13 episodes, and I'm going to take this opportunity to try to do something that I promised before the very first episode of Garrett's Football Show about 14, 15 weeks ago, but I haven't been able to live up to it. I'm going to try to keep the episode below 40 to 30 minutes. So we're going to try to be tight, quick, to the point. We're going to get you guys out of here in the time that I originally promised. So bear with me right now. We're at 52 seconds for the intro. I'm liking that. So first, we're going to just go over my predictions for last week. 2 weeks in a row, I'm well above 500. Backhand of the season, it looks like I'm starting to get into a little bit of groove, which means I probably should bring the betting back a little bit more, but we'll keep that to the post-production, pre-production part of the show. I went 10-6, and the games that I lost, like always, they were surprise games. The Patriots lost to the Vikings. Now, for this season, that's not surprising, but I said I was surprised. I said the Vikings weren't going to win because Kirk Cousins' late-night game, Thanksgiving, he's going to shit the bed. He didn't do that. And I think that's why that win was impressive. Are we getting a new Kirk Cousins this year? Should we be more serious about the Vikings? Potentially. I'm not quite ready to say I'm convinced yet, but that game, just because it was late and just because that was the best game Mac Jones has put forward offensively, so it was a little bit of battle. It was an interesting win, a good win at night for Kirk Cousins. Buccaneers at Browns, I'll get to that in a second. But that win, or that loss by the Buccaneers is still interesting. Ravens lost to the Jags. I'll get to that in a second as well. But if you've been watching Garrett's Football Show, you probably have an idea what I'm going to say. But stay tuned for that. Raiders at Seahawks, I'm not going to talk about that. But, yeah, that happened. Bears at Jets. Wrong about that. I had the Bears winning. I said I was still confident in the Bears, even if they didn't have Justin Fields, which they didn't. I was wrong. Very wrong. Jets, we'll get to that in a second, or in actually more of a minute in the show, but stay tuned for that. We have a lot coming for you this week in Garrett's Football Show, but the first thing I want to talk about, my teams. And this week, it was a love-hate relationship, watching my teams play. Again, a couple weeks ago on Garrett Football Show, I said that I was going to be going to that game. It was a Monday night game in Indianapolis, Colts versus Steelers, my two favorite teams playing against each other. And I was excited for that game. I was worried about maybe how hostile Indy could potentially be, how hostile Colts fans were. And just going to that game was amazing. Seeing that game between the Colts and Steelers gave me a lot of information about what I'm about to talk about right now. But first, I'm just going to get into the experience of the game. There were a lot of Steelers fans there. I don't know if there's a lot of Steelers fans roaming in Indianapolis, roaming where I live. I don't know if Pittsburgh is driving all the way here. It's probably a little bit of both. I wonder which one it was more though, because the terrible towels, on those third downs, on those big plays, they were swinging. They were everywhere. It was I felt no animosity because there were so many Steelers fans. And 5-hour drive, that's a 5-hour drive from Pittsburgh to here, Indianapolis, where I record. I mean, if they're making that drive, I'm a Steelers fan, so I know how passionate Steelers fans are. That's just shout out to Steelers fans, I guess, is what that really made me see. Is just damn, they're coming out for the team. I felt like it was a neutral game. All right, I'm capping. Not a neutral game, but I felt at home being a Steelers fan. I'll say that. And then on the other side with the Colts fans, it was not hostile at all. Everybody was laughing. It would be maybe just joking things about the Steelers. I'd joke about the Colts, but I mean, everyone I was around was nice about it, didn't care, made conversation about it. It was great stadium, wonderful time. $10 beers are a little excessive, I guess, but hey, you're not going to watch a professional games, whether it be football, basketball, World Cup, anything. You're not going to watch that sober. So you're going to pay the $10 for the beers. But the game, the atmosphere, the energy, I'm 5 minutes in, so let me not talk too much because I can keep going. It was amazing. I can't believe it took me 22 years to go to my first Colts game, but like now I'm like, next year I got to go 10 million of them. I got to go whenever I have the opportunity. And I really may figure out a way to get myself to one before the season ends. That was the experience watching it as just my first time going to a Colts game. As a host of a weekly football show and a lover of the Colts and a lover of the Steelers, seeing that game and watching the way the teams played respectively gave me emotions. And I can tackle this from the Colts and the Steelers, and I'm going to start with the Colts. And it's going to be quick because I don't think there's really that much to say. The Colts have played like the Colts we've seen all season before Jeff Saturday. 3 points in the first half, coming back in the second half with a chance to win in the fourth quarter. Matt Ryan has to drive the Colts down drive the Colts down the field and make play after play. And if we get this touchdown, we win. If we don't, we lose. We didn't get it, we lost. That was what the game was. That is what most of our games had been before firing Frank Reich, before firing our offensive coordinator, who I can't think of right now, and before doing all the things that Jim Irsay has done to make the Colts be one of the biggest sports news stories for the last couple weeks. We looked like that team. We had a really high-energy game of Jeff Saturday, that first game against the Raiders. The second game that we had with Jeff Saturday against the Eagles was another good game that we should have won. I'd say it's a little bit more balanced throughout the game. I came in and I said, what is a team that plays good in the first half, but does bad in the second half? I asked that question to my guest, JT, if you remember last week, and he said it was a team that can't put together a whole game, and we still can't put together a whole game. It's just interesting to me that this week the script of how we didn't put together that game was very similar to how it was before. Now, that could pose a lot of questions about Jeff Saturday being the coach for us. It could pose a lot of questions about this season and what's going on with the Colts as a franchise behind the scenes, but I will say this. While we lost, embrace the tank. Every Colts fan who hasn't been embracing the tank that I've been kind of alluding to, or really just straight looking at the last couple of weeks, I think it's time we do that. What are we winning for? We have the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. It's the NFL throwing the Cowboys a laugh to slam dunk on us and get us even more to the Cowboy hype that happens every year. But then we have our bye week. Okay. Bye week. I like bye weeks because it gives you a chance to look at what you're doing, rest up, and get together a game plan. But that doesn't mean anything seeing last week because 3 of the bye week teams lost. Buccaneers, Seattle, and I can't think of the other one. Vikings, Chargers, Giants, Texans. Let's just lose and get a quarterback, get a coach, and let Jim Irsay trust that coach, trust that quarterback, and let's build and figure this out with a little bit of a restart. But please do not try to win these games and get us a weak-ass pick, and we have to find and scramble for a new quarterback or have Matt Ryan again. Please. These last 4 or 5 games are just as important as if we were playing for the playoffs. We need to lose to get the best draft pick we can. What are we now? I think 4-6-1. I'm going to look at it real quick. But, it doesn't matter what we are because we need those losses. We're 4-7-1. Even worse. Even worse, but even better, depending on how you got to look at it. For me, even better. Let's get more losses. If you don't agree, I'm sorry. If you want the Colts to win, if it's hard for you to see the Colts lose, it is for me too. But do you want to see the Colts lose for years to come, or do you want to just sit and watch 4 bad games and have an opportunity to be excited about a good young quarterback at the end of next year, no matter where we end? Because I'm going to switch to the Steelers now, and I said I don't care about the Steelers winning or losing. I'm excited about where we are because we have a good young quarterback that I'm seeing progression in. Next year, as a Colts fan, even just going to games, because I'm thinking about it in that way too. If we have a good young quarterback that's progressing each game and we trust in him and the city trusts him and likes him and he's good and he has the intangibles, we're going to be okay with losing these where we are now. We're 4-7-1 and what are we happy about now? What are you happy about watching the Colts? Because I'm not happy about anything. Just get a quarterback. Let's lose. Stop watching the games for a couple weeks if it's hurting you to see us lose and you like Jeff Saturday. I like Jeff Saturday too. But just stop watching for a couple weeks. Come back at the beginning of next year and we can all be happy together if we lose and we get a good quarterback. onto the Steelers, a team that have a young quarterback that is progressing each and every game since he's came in, and I'm okay with losing. That being said, we didn't lose. We won. And again, I don't want to say this isn't why we won because Kenny Pickett played a great game. But I said, and I've been saying for the past couple weeks, the way the Steelers are going to win games, we get a couple turnovers. When we get those turnovers, we turn them into points, preferably touchdowns and not field goals, but we turn them into points, and we don't make simple and dumb mistakes on offense, or too many of them, because you're gonna, and I don't even want to say dumb, and I don't even want to say simple, but just mistakes that can hurt a game, and you're gonna get those from a rookie quarterback, but we can't make too many of them. First drive of the game, Matt Ryan throws an interception. Hey, what did I say about that being a lot like a lot of the games before Jeff Saturday? Matt Ryan's good for a couple interceptions. Whether it's offensive line, blah, 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 probably yes. Who cares? We're talking about the Steelers right now. Matt Ryan gave us an interception right in the beginning of the game. We got the fumble towards the end of the game that stopped the drive. When I was there watching the Colts play, this is another thing that told me I'm more of a Steelers fan than a Colts. I don't hate to say it, but I'm a little to say it. But when that drive was happening where Matt Ryan was driving it down the field, and they were right at goal, now I'm saying they, just a second ago I was saying we. I realize I'm doing it. Ignore it, please. Please. I'm talking about my first and second favorite teams. But that drive when we got that fumble, when the Steelers got that fumble, it was like, okay, that's the second turnover. Like, it's things like that. We live by our defense. Then you have Kenny Pickett. Second half. Okay, well, let's just get into Kenny Pickett and how he relates to the equation we need to win each games, and how he performed perfectly and above that equation on Monday Night Football, his first Monday night game. We got the 2 turnovers, and in the first half, we got the turnover in the first half, and I think even that was just, and I can look because I have it up right here, I think even that was just a field goal. It was. We only got a field goal from that. Red zone problems, not red zone problems, but red zone turning those red zone opportunities into touchdowns, not field goals. That was a problem in the first half. We should have been up 7-14. We should have been about 21-3. About 21-3, because we got 2 field goals where we should have got touchdowns. We should have been up 21-3 on the Colts at halftime, but we weren't. We gave them a chance to get back into the game and make it a scary game and a good game. Okay, fair enough. And those are the times where it's like, if we lose that game, I'm like, the Steelers being we. If the Steelers lose that game, I'm like, okay, Kenny Pickett really looked good. He looked better. I'm okay with that. I could be happy about the Colts winning. But he looked each game it's looked like he's been making a progression. This game it looked like he made 2 or 3 progressions. And it's interesting to me that he did it on Monday Night Football, the biggest stage. That's what I'm talking about with Kenny Pickett and those intangibles. On Monday Night Football, the Colts scored 14 points in the third quarter. They had right after first play at halftime. I can't think of his name. Almost runs it back for a touchdown. I even stood up for a second and was like, what the heck? I was like a Colts fan for a second with my Steelers gear on. The people sitting next to me were like, nah, sit down. Because I've been talking to them about like being a Colts and Steelers fan. But I was like that play was exciting for the Colts. That could take the energy out of the Steelers and a rookie quarterback. And the defense held us up. And what did we do after the defense held us up, held stands, didn't let touchdown? Oh, well, actually, no, they let the touchdowns happen. The defense stood us. The defense came in for us later when they had to, and I'll get to that. But they scored the points. But what did Kenny Pickett do? He said, all right, scores 14-13. We're going into the fourth. Let me go get a tutty. And not let me go get a tutty. Let me immediately after go get a 2-point conversion to who my rookie receiver, Pickens. George Pickens. Forgot his name for a second. Pickens. It's so easy to say. Sometimes it's too easy. When we go do that, get a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion, and let me get my team the win. That's elite to me. That's elite to me. And if you don't think that's elite, if you don't think that's impressive, hey, that's fine. You'll see it when you have to see it. But I'm seeing it now. Kenny Pickett is our quarterback. You make a play. As a rookie, in another stadium on the road. Monday Night Football. That's the hardest time, I'm sure, to go and make not a game-winning drive, but really a game-winning drive. When you think about it, that's the drive that won us the game. That's the 2-point conversion right after that won us the game. That made it a 7-point game and not a 6-point game. Like, that's intangible eliteness, and that's why I think Kenny Pickett is only going to get better and better, and he just needs to stay healthy. And I know that he's going to put the work in because I'm seeing Mike Tomlin talk about him every press conference, and that's something they say about him all the time, is that he works, he wants to learn. Kenny Pickett's going to be good. And if you don't think that after seeing what he did on the biggest stage, one of the biggest stages on Monday Night Football on the road, all right. You'll see it when you have to see it, like I said. I'm 15, 16 minutes in. I'm excited about the Steelers, win or lose the rest of the season, because I know Kenny Pickett is going to get better and better. Next year, he's going to be better and better. It's just, I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Even coming off a win, even the fact that we won this week and everybody's happy for 7 days when you win. You feel so good when your team wins for 7 days. But who cares? Even that being said, our future is way better than our present if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And the Colts need to figure out a way to do the same thing and get a new quarterback and trust that quarterback. I want to be this excited about both my teams. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say on the Colts and the Steelers. It was amazing to see that game. The Colts need to tank. The Steelers need to keep doing what they're doing. Still fire Matt Canada. It wasn't that bad. Najee got hurt. Some of the play, he was letting Pickett cook. Let Pickett cook. Jesus. Every time he's throwing it down the field more. I'm seeing more of those. And he's connecting with Pickens. Yeah, it's almost too easy, like I said. But he's connecting with Pickens more. It seems like whenever we need that big play, it's going to Pickens. He was a 2-point conversion. I love to see that. I love to see Pickens doing the suey. Like, the Steelers are exciting, but let me go. Reason I was wrapping up. Sorry, I get too excited. I was wrapping up, and let me remember why I was wrapping up. We still need to fire Matt Canada, but his play calling, it looks like he knows he should get fired, and he's starting to try to switch it up a little bit. So sometimes maybe when you light a fire under somebody's ass, it makes them do better. So good job, Matt Canada. Have that fire heating up your ass so we can get Mike Tomlin a winning season, and then it's even better of a Steelers season because we could still have the above 500 season, which would just be the icing on the cake of a rough season. So yeah, good job, Matt Canada. Like Pickett cook and do that, but you're still fired. Your job's already gone. But maybe you can get another job by starting to change your play calling and letting Pickett cook and letting us score more points and letting us be more aggressive. Then you can get a job somewhere else. And then, again, I want a good, smart, nerdy, creative, offensive coordinator for the Steelers. I want one of them. That's who I want as offensive coordinator as the Steelers. But moving on into teams to talk about, I know that was a lot. And I'll get to like I said in Get Up, show we always do next week and what's going on next. We're just going to do predictions. We're just getting into predictions, and I'll talk about the Colts and the Steelers and their predictions for next week. Teams to talk about. First, I'm going to get into the Buccaneers. One of those games, one of the few games I may add, one of the few games I lost. That was like a bad loss, but it was a weird loss. What was the game finish? I think it finished 17-17, or maybe because the Buccaneers scored that last touchdown, so it obviously didn't score. Yeah, 23-17. So the Buccaneers had a lot of chances to put that game away. Tom Brady had a lot of chances to put that game away. The receivers are back. Godwin looked great. Mike Evans, there's something there. I don't know what it is with him and Tom Brady, with him himself. I don't know. I don't have a guest this week, so I'm not even going to even have someone to ask. But I say all of that to say I don't think I'm that worried about the Buccaneers getting to the playoffs and being scary in the playoffs. Like, that game doesn't make me give up on those takes, and here's why. You got to think, it was Jacoby Brissett's last game, and why would the Browns? And I think it was one of those high energy games, and you're asking yourself, why would the Browns play high for Jacoby Brissett? It's Jacoby Brissett. Why wouldn't they? He's played 13 games. He's played 12 games with them. He's done good. Hasn't done great. He's done maybe a little bit less than good. But Jacoby Brissett has came on and giving the Browns, 4-7 with Jacoby Brissett. That's I wouldn't be mad at that as a Browns fan, and I'll say that. And the thing about like Tom Brady, and he said this in the press conference, and he's been saying this all year. It's like an effort thing. And when I watch the Buccaneers play, I do feel like there's not like a hunger to win, and there's no effort. And I think like you just get to the playoffs and everything changes. Maybe it feels different. The games feel different. And on top of that, like that didn't look like the same Tom Brady that was at the beginning of the season, where he was coming into every press conference looking like a skeleton, and he was slamming tablets, and he was obviously unhappy about something. And I'm not going to say something. It was his marriage and whatever problems that were. Hey, I don't know. But like after he's gotten the divorce, which we all know has happened, he looks different. And even that, the Seahawks, it was only it was 2-0. He was 2-0. But that Seahawks game, he looked different. And the Buccaneers look different. And I think that like that game against the Browns was a weird loss, but not a loss that is saying that there really is something wrong with Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is the same, like that's the same kind of problem Tom Brady was having at the beginning of the season that I think everyone was seeing. I don't think it's that. And I think it's the run game. Like the Buccaneers, obviously they had that game against the Seahawks, and I was excited to see when they run the ball well, they play so much better. They have so many more opportunities. So I just think like I'm still the same on the Bucs. The Bucs have potential to be scary. Now they did make it a lot worse for themselves because they're in a division that is absolutely trash. Lucky Tom Brady. No teams are above 500, but he's still a game ahead in the division. The NFC, I'm looking at it right now. So that means that he has a fire under his ass. The NFC South. The Falcons, who the Steelers play, the Panthers, and the Saints. 4-8 Saints, 4-8 Panthers, 5-7 Falcons, 5-6 Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers play the Saints this week, and the Falcons play the Steelers this week. Very important and interesting game for both teams. Now there's a fire under Tom Brady's ass. Now let's and I want to go back just to say this again, not to say this again, but I think it makes my next point even stronger is that like Tom Brady's the king of comebacks. When we were seeing not even overtime, before overtime, when the Browns scored and he had the chance to go and get that touchdown, and there was maybe a little bit of something with the clock management, and they had that chance in the fourth quarter to go and put the game away at the end. Most people were thinking Tom Brady's going to put that game away. That's how we feel about Tom Brady, and I feel like we should continue to feel that way about Tom Brady for this particular season. I don't think he's fallen off that much of a cliff just yet. And then he has a fire under his ass, and when anybody has a fire under their ass, I would trust Tom Brady more than them. Tom Brady to win and live up to that standard. And that's just what I think Tom Brady's going to do. This game is a division game. It's against the Saints, who defense has Tom Brady's number ever since he's gone to Tampa Bay. And it was a low-scoring game the last time they played at the beginning of the season. I remember watching that game and being shitty. Second game of the season, it was 10-10. It was 2010 Buccaneers, but it was like 10-10 most of the game, or 3-3 like I think the first half. That was a weird game. I think this is going to be another weird game, and I think it's going to be another opportunity for Tom Brady to show why he's the GOAT. They're going to probably have to win at the end, and I think I'm going to put my money and I'm going to put my trust in Tom Brady to do that. I'm not going to be ringing any alarm bells about the Buccaneers again like I maybe was at the beginning of the season until after this game. And until seeing how Tom Brady plays, how the energy of the team is, and how everything works out. This is how I feel about that. And the Browns, I think that was a high-energy game. Browns get Deshaun Watson back. I'm staying away from that topic. We'll see how Deshaun Watson plays on Sunday. Should he be playing? The Texans. It's so much with that. I'm saying off that. I was just about to start. I'm saying off that. Deshaun Watson, first game back. Notable conversation. Watch or don't watch. Browns. Texans. Teams to talk about moving on is the Dolphins. All I'm going to say about the Dolphins is they're for real. That offense is crazy. That offense is nuts. They're going to be able to put up points with anyone. It's going to be they're in the playoffs. The game they lose, if they lose in the playoff, is going to be a high-scoring game. If Tua can stay healthy, God willing. I'm trying to look right now at that game. Yeah, Dolphins-Texans, they had to take Tua out of the second half. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle had 85 yards respectively. Both of them had 85 yards. Next week they play the Bengals. That's a very good game. The Bengals are getting hot right now. I got the Dolphins winning that game. I got the Dolphins beating the Bengals. I have the Dolphins. I don't know. I don't know if I have the Dolphins winning the division. While I'm recording this on Thursday, the Bills and the Patriots play. Another very important game. The Bills are 0-2 in the division this year. If it's the Bills' division to win still, if they lose, it's because the Bills gave it away. But the Dolphins, they're gonna do everything they can to win. They're gonna win games. They're gonna put up points. It's gonna be hard to beat them. And I don't see the Bengals doing it this week. And the only reason I put the Dolphins in the teams to talk about, and they're continuing to be in the teams to talk about, is because of how impressive they are, how good Tua and Mike McDaniel are together. Like, something I just want to say is, like it's been cool to see, like, Tua talk about Mike McDaniel and the relationship that he has with Mike McDaniel. And even with the Dolphins and everything that they did with Brian Flores, which is a whole other conversation, and how I feel like the Dolphins did Brian Flores wrong. Sorry, I got tongue-tied for a little bit. Seeing, like, Mike McDaniel, who's also black, or he's a mixed race, but black, and you can look that up. I didn't know, but so I guess they still have a black quarterback. But, like, seeing Mike McDaniel and Tua together is, like, amazing, because it shows what happens when someone believes in you, when someone trusts in you, and how that can, like, build your confidence. Like, it was no question that the Brian Flores didn't want Tua there. Like, he didn't necessarily believe in him. And, of course, it's like, not even of course, because sometimes people have that mentality where it's like, you don't believe in me, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to prove to you, blah, blah, blah. And Tua probably still has that. Like, he got to the NFL. He's obviously a dog, and he's obviously mentally tough, but it can't be easy in any scope of life to try to live up to your potential when you have your boss or someone you work with closely who doesn't believe in you. And I'm just saying, like, Mike McDaniel, like, if you, like, just look it up. Just look up some of the videos of them talking together and the mics up between them and how Tua speaks about him in press conferences and just the relationship. Like, it's not really that surprising to me when you look at that, and when you look at he has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle is a star that he is. Like, all those things together, it's in the fact that Tua is a great talent. It's not surprising to me that the Dolphins are doing what they're doing and the Tua is doing what he's doing. I just think it's like an interesting story and something to be interested in. The fact that like you got a coach that believed in him and is obviously like a genius offensive coach. They're scoring some of the most points in the league, respectively, per game. Tua is, I think, top 5, maybe top 3. I have to look again, but definitely top 5 in passing yards. And the Miami Dolphins are 8-3 and are primed to potentially be the front runners of the AFC. And I don't want to say it before I look again, because I kept calling the Steelers the NFC North last week, and I don't know why I was doing that. I was too excited talking about them. The AFC East. The Dolphins are in a position to win the AFC East. So Dolphins are amazing to watch play football. If you like the Dolphins, or if you don't like the Dolphins, or if you haven't been watching the Dolphins, which is interesting to me if you haven't, watch a Dolphins game. It's just good to watch them play. It's interesting to watch them play. It's entertaining football. It's what the NFL wants football to be today. A lot of touchdowns, high-flying offense. So you got to love it. And it's Miami. Anything like Miami's one of those cities where teams are playing good in Miami. It's a little bit different from when you're in a smaller market. Everybody knows that. Shout out to the Dolphins. Ravens and Jags. And moving on to teams to talk about. I'm at 29 minutes. I promised you guys I was going to get to 40 minutes. 40 to 30 minutes. We're going to do this. I'm going to do this. Stay with me. 10 minutes. We're going to do Ravens, Jags, teams to talk about. We're going to do, then we're going to do notable conversations. So, 10 minutes. Jags, best game of Trevor Lawrence's career. The Jags, I look back and went because, like, I remember at the beginning of this show, the beginning of season 1, I was, like, saying, okay, the Jags are going to win our division. The Jags are really good, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're 4-7 with us. They're not going to win the division. The Titans are going to win the division. But the Jags are still, like, And I not gave up on him, but I stopped paying that much attention to him the last like 6-7 weeks because they've been losing, they've been mid. But I looked at them. They've lost all their games by like a touchdown or less. Same with the Ravens. Like the Jags are really good. Trevor Lawrence is really good, and them losing by a touchdown or less, or maybe like 10 points, could be like not playing clutch. This was if that last drive by Trevor Lawrence is the definition of clutch. So the Jags are going to be good for the next couple years, for the next however long they have Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence he looks to be a generational QB. He's a dog. He's great. The Jags are better. The Jags are a team to look out for, and the Jags are a team that I'll probably be talking about for the rest of this season because I guarantee they're going to continue to be good, and for the later season of Garrett's football show because I can just see like Trevor Lawrence is a real deal, and he does have clutch in him, and he's going to continue to grow as quarterbacks mature and have more time and more experience. And that's what happens when you get a quarterback and you let him grow and you give him what he needs to grow. You give him the tools, wide receiver, O-line, defense, whatever it may be that the team is lacking. You give that quarterback that and you give him chances to grow. And that's what happens. Trevor Lawrence, Kenny Pickett, Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. And just that's the perfect segue. That's enough on the Jags to get into the Ravens. I ain't never seen a team that looks so good lose so many games in the fourth quarter in crazy ways. And it's multiple. In each of these games, it's like that they're losing. All of their losses are in the fourth quarter in a crazy way. It's not all the same. Sometimes it's a defense. Sometimes, less times I'd say, but it has been Lamar Jackson a few times. But I'm gonna say like, I think altogether, I think the problem with the Ravens is that when they win, for them to win consistently, Lamar has to do like almost everything. The defense doesn't give them the stop when they need to stop. They let Trevor Lawrence drive all the way downfield, and maybe that was more Trevor Lawrence being a dog and just being locked in, but you got to get a stop there. Like that last thing isn't on the last drive isn't on Lamar. That being said, there were some times that game he missed some home run throws that you have to make. And that's just like that's why I can't 100% like say okay, it's not anything with Lamar, it's on the Ravens. But I will say like the Ravens are they just don't give Lamar what he needs, what wide receivers. Like even if he is a running quarterback, okay, you still have to give him the opportunity. He's a quarterback, running quarterback. Key word being quarterback. You had to give him top wide receivers to go to when you can't run the ball, when you have to throw, when everybody in the building, including the defensive coordinator on the other side of the ball, knows you have to throw to win. You only have really Mark Andrews. There's no star wide receiver talent. And that's a problem. The defense, I mean, it's not stopping people when it needs to. The Steelers against the Colts. The Steelers stop the Colts when they need to. That's putting your offense in a good position. That's complementary football. The Ravens aren't doing that. It's like they want to force Lamar to be something that he isn't. And when you have a talent that is that great, you got to play to what he does, build with what he is, and be better because of it. Like look at the Eagles. You go and you get AJ Brown, and you have different. You have Devontae Smith. You have some the Eagles have good wide receivers, and they have a good wide receiver and a clear wide receiver 1 and 2, and supplementary receivers that are still good that will go and make plays. You double one, you can get to the other. But then you have Jalen Hurts, where if there's a 3rd and 5, Jalen Hurts, and there's nobody else to do it, Jalen Hurts is going to go get that 5 yards himself, and you're confident in that. That's what happens when you have a dual threat quarterback that can throw and pass. You have the opportunity to win in multiple ways. And even if I'm not convinced about the Eagles getting to the Super Bowl, what have I said about the Eagles all season? When you watch them play, they have a lot of ways to win. You stop the run game, they're gonna throw it. You make it so they can't throw it, they're gonna run because you have Jalen Hurts. And then the defense, they get multiple defensive players in season. They're building their defense to play complementary football. That's what happens when you figure out a talent that may be unorthodox or may not be the usual thing, and you say, let me build into that. And for that reason, I'm at 34 minutes. I'm glad I looked. For that reason, If the Ravens aren't going to build for around Lamar Jackson, get rid of him and let him go to somebody that is going to use that talent, because Lamar Jackson is a Super Bowl quarterback. And the Ravens are playing around because they want him to be the Super Bowl quarterback that they want him to be, not the Super Bowl quarterback that he is. So if you are going to continue to do that, let go of Lamar. And I think they're going to use this season, because it hasn't been great, because they're losing games tight, because I don't think they're going to do good in the playoffs because they don't finish off games. They may use this to not pay Lamar, to not give him this guaranteed money that Deshaun Watson gets. And I don't care what Deshaun Watson does. Lamar's better than Deshaun Watson. He deserves that guaranteed money. If you're not going to do that, get rid of him. Let him go somewhere else. And then I want Lamar to go to a team that's going to believe in him, and I guarantee him he'll get that team a Super Bowl. I'll say it even this. Shit, I love Kenny Pickett. If we have a chance to get Lamar Jackson, hey, Kenny Pickett, we'll see you in however many years. I still like you. I still love you to death. I still think you could be a great quarterback, but I want Lamar Jackson on my team. And we have the receivers, and we have the defense. You know what I'm saying? Complimentary football. The Ravens are losing not because of Lamar. It's because of that organization and the people at the top that aren't doing what they need to do to build around the best running quarterback in the NFL and in NFL history, in my opinion. 36 minutes. I'm done with the Ravens. That's all I'm going to say about the Ravens. That's all I'm going to say about the Jags. I do have notable conversations, and I'm going to say those fast. Jets. Have they found a QB? I don't know. Probably not. That was a really good game. Another high-energy game. Mike White played amazing. And it showed Zach Wilson, when you're a dickhead and you don't live up to it, you can't be a dickhead and not win. You know? That's why, I'm not even going to get into another conversation saying that, but you can't be a dickhead and not win. If you're going to be a dickhead, you got to win. You got to play good. Nothing more said. I think now it just keeps hurting Zach Wilson's chances of being a Jets starting quarterback the more that Mike White plays. That's the only thing I have to say about that. Sorry, my allergies are killing me. Cowboys just slide past Giants. I think they'd probably need Odell for the energy boost. They need Odell for the team. I'm still not convinced about the Cowboys, but I do say I get riled up in that excitement of the Cowboys, but logically I'm not too scared of the Cowboys. Odell got kicked off a plane. Who cares? I was going to talk about that more, but we're at 37 minutes, and I'm going to try to get you guys there. However you feel about that is interesting to me. The Odell situation, that is interesting, but I'm not going to get into it. Beagles starting to sneak up further and further at the right time, and I only say that because I've been kind of talking bad about the Bengals, and I want to let you guys know if the Bengals do really get in the playoffs and everything and they get back, I'm going to stand on everything that I said. Maybe I was wrong about the Bengals this year, but I'm standing on Kenny Pickett being better than Joe Burrow. I'm standing on the Steelers being better than the Bengals, and the Bengals are legit. They're like that. So that should tell you how good I think the Steelers are, and how good I think the Steelers will be, and how good I think Kenny Pickett is. But the Bengals are getting hot at the right time, and the Ravens will give the Bengals a chance to win the division, because the AFC North, because the Ravens like to lose whenever they can. So I guess not even shout out to the Bengals, but I'm paying attention. The Bengals could be scary. The Bengals are scary. And they're going to be good they're going to just be better when Jamar Chase comes back. Those are my notable conversations. Let's get into predictions for Week 13. Bro, I've been holding in a sneeze for so long. I sneezed. I'm cutting that out. I don't even know what I'm going to put in there, but I'm cutting it out. You guys are not seeing that. Sneeze was crazy. Excuse me. But 38-40, I'm getting a prediction. So that was crazy. I was holding that sneezing for so long. Damn, my allergies are killing me. Raiders at wait. No, that's not right. Yeah, Week 13. Tonight, Thursday, Bills at Patriots. Shit, I'm not going to take too long with my predictions. That's a good game, especially when Mac Jones is coming off the best offensive performance he's had, even if the Vikings defense is questionable. I'm going to go Bills still. Steelers at Falcons. I got Steelers. Broncos at Ravens. I got Ravens. Packers at Bears. Packers, even though Aaron Rodgers I hate to bet on Aaron Rodgers right now. Jags at Lions. Ooh, I got Lions, but that's going to be another good game. Browns at Texans. I'm not going to guess this game. Nah, I can't do that. That's weak. I can't do that. I don't want it, but this... I'm going to go Browns. Jets at Vikings. Commanders at Giants, Commanders. Titans at Eagles, but that's a good game too. Seahawks at Rams, Seahawks. Dolphins at 49ers, another good game. Dolphins, that's what I'm going to say. Chiefs at Bengals. You know what? Wait, I'm at 40-30, and we're going to be done because I'm not going to do fantasy, and I'm going to do fantasy for a second. I'm not going to do bets, but bets are going to come back. Trust me. But I just want to look at this Dolphins 49ers game. I said the Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers do not want to get in the shootout in the playoffs. I know it's not the playoffs. I know it's a regular season game, but Tua is going to make this a shoot-off. If the Dolphins win, that could be a sign of to come. Like, that's Dolphins and 49ers, what I'm going to be interested in that game, and what's probably going to be in teams to talk about no matter how that game goes in episode 14 is how does Jimmy Garoppolo play? And if it is a game where Jimmy Garoppolo has to use his arm and throw it downfield, does he throw interceptions or does he live up to it? Okay, but I have the Dolphins. Chiefs at Bengals, another good game. The Bengals beat the Chiefs, obviously, in the AFC Championship, and they beat the Chiefs in the regular season last year. So do the Bengals have the Chiefs number? Maybe, but I'm not going to say, so I have the Chiefs. Chargers at Raiders, Chargers. Colts at Cowboys. And I know early in the season sometimes I say I call games as a lover of a team and from a logical person. Both of me is calling the Cowboys to win. We need to lose and we need to tank, and we're not playing that good. But something that people have said to me multiple times on this show is the Colts find ways to win games we shouldn't win. We shouldn't win this game. That's all I'm going to say about that. Saints at Buccaneers, Monday night game. Bucs. But the betting man in me says the Saints would probably be fun to pick there. Fantasy, I am on a 3 or 4 game winning streak. I think I'm the top in my division. I'm looking like my Steelers, you know. Every game could be 50-50. It's tight, but we're winning them. We're winning the 50-50 games. Like I said, fantasy every week is a different week. Like I've said, this is a theme every time of fantasy on this show. Just keep up with your teams. Look at your drafts. This is a reminder for you to start your starters. I remember I said Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady were my quarterbacks, and who was I going to start every week? Everybody knows, even if I haven't said it, reminding anyone, I start Tom Brady every week because Aaron Rodgers is ass. And I'm doing good. I'm 8-4. I'm projected to win this game, but that means absolutely nothing. 8-4, and I think I'm first in my division. So, and I look at those waiver wires every week. I take care of my players. I respect my players, and they respect me, and they play hard for me. And that's all I gotta say about fantasy. Bets. Bets are coming back. I'm not doing bets this week, but bets are coming back, and they're gonna be a lot better than they were at the beginning of the year. We're gonna get me money, and we're gonna get you money, and we're gonna get us money. That's Garrett's Football Show, episode 13. If you stayed with me all 43 minutes, thank you. I would like to thank you for keeping it shortest episode we've had all season. I'm proud of myself for that. You should be proud of me for that. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you enjoy this week of football. That's a wrap.